Hello guys, we're going to quickly go over the Maliss deck and more or less what you need to know with it. So real quick, each one of the monsters has an effect that special summons themselves when they are banished, including the Link monsters. They all have a cost of a small amount of life points in order to reborn themselves from grave. This pairs very well with things like Bestials, as well as the in-archetype Bestial, that being March Hare. On top of that, each one of these traps has the ability to banish a monster the turn it's set in order to activate the effect. So you banish a Maliss monster in order to activate the effect of the trap, which is again very advantageous, specifically with MTP, meaning that if your opponent were to have something like a Imperm or a Veiler or something else of that nature, you get to dodge that, which is pretty cool. And then, yeah, pretty much it's just a bunch of Cybers stuff. I mean, they're all Cybers, so they're all very powerful. So as you can see by the deck list here, I don't think this is like an ideal deck list, it's just kind of a general idea. We can play a myriad of hand traps. If you include the Bestials, it's upwards of 20, and if you don't include the Bestials, it's still around 15 to 16, which is very powerful. On top of that, we also have some very good consistency, because literally every single one of the Maliss monsters pretty much does full combo, thanks to things like Haggard Lizardos, Bestials, etc. The only one that technically doesn't is Cat, but even that, as long as you see pretty much any other Maliss monster in hand, it absolutely does. And even on top of that, if you were to see something else, like a Maliss in Underground or something else of that nature, you could potentially draw into the cards that you need, like said Maliss in Underground. So even with that, the Cat still does it, and if you see like Cat with a Bestial, again, it still does it. Let me show you how that works. Alright, so let's start here with the Field Spell. Field Spell allows us to banish a Maliss from deck, so we're going to banish the Dormouse. Dormouse effect, as well as all of the other effects, are going to bring themselves back. So activate the the Dormouse effect, banishing White Rabbit. White Rabbit effect is going to special summon itself in order to activate its effect, which allows us to set a trap. We are going to set GWC here, which happens to be the Reborn effect. On top of that, every single one of the Maliss trap cards has the effect where you can activate it the turn it's set by banishing a face-up Maliss card. Cool, cool. Now, let us link into the Brains. Let's link off into, actually, nothing here. We're actually going to normal summon the Cat here, and then we are going to go into a Haggard Lizardos. We're not going to activate anything there. We're going to go for the Haggard here in order to banish the Cat and targeting our Haggard Lizardos, which then allows us to reborn the Cat. Cat effect is going to activate Reborning, and hip hip hooray, we now get to go into our, I believe we go Splash Mage here. We're going to go Splash Mage. We're going to activate the effect of the Splash Mage. We are going to Reborn here. Out comes this guy. We are then going to go into our Red Ransom. With these two, activate the effect of the Red Ransom, which grabs us another spell, which is going to be the Maliss in the Mirror. This says target a face-up monster your opponent controls, banish a Maliss monster from hand or face-up field, and if you do, negate the targeted monster's effect until the end of this turn. If this card is banished, you can target a Maliss card in your grave, banish it, and if you do, add a Maliss card of the same type, which is very, very useful, because guess what? You could just banish this for the effect of something like a Cat in order to draw two, and then also search a card, which is kind of dumb, all things considered. But that's okay, because it doesn't need to be smart, it just needs to exist. However, that's fine, because now we are going to go into our White Binder. White Binder effect is going to activate, and we are specifically going to banish that Red Ransom from earlier. Red Ransom is going to then return itself back to the field, and on top of that, banish a Cybers monster from deck. What are we banishing? That's right, the March Hare. March Hare is going to add itself back to the hand via its own effect by taking 300, and bada bing, bada boom, we now have a in-archetype Bestial. Hip hip hurrah. Now we do get to activate the effect of the White Binder, which is going to set another card here, which is the MTP, which is a search card. Then we are going to activate the effect of our Reborn spell in order to banish our monster and reborn another monster. This is mostly just to trigger the effect of our Maliss monster in banish to reborn itself and draw us a card. Hey, look at that. That is a fairly good card. Hip hip hooray. Now we're going to go into this guy here, which is fairly decent. Oh, I think I messed up my zones. Did I? No. No, I think I did mess up my zones. Yeah, I think I messed up my zones here. What I was supposed to do there is, I think, actually put one of these two in one of these other zones. It's fine. mostly because I need to put the Firewall Dragon into a specific zone. Not really that big of a deal. What we can actually just do is, in order to fix this, we can actually just special summon this guy from hand, which is not exactly great, but you can. As this deck is pretty forgiving, all things considered, but we are going to link off these two in order to go into the Firewall Dragon, and then we can link off, nothing, and then we can link off these two in order to go into our Topologic Bomber. We can also activate the effect of the Link Decoder here in order to special summon it over here. I don't know why I specifically went there, but okay. But now we have that as well, and then we can set 1, and we can set 2, and we can kind of pass from there. We could also potentially add a card back to our hand, or bounce a card here. But notably, this may not look all that impressive, but notably what it does do, I think I actually wasn't supposed to activate this one as much as I was supposed to activate this one to search a card, but it's not really that big of a deal. Notably, what it does do is it allows us to Topologic Bomber Dragon. We have the bounce here, and we have a few other interactions as well, obviously, while having drawn a bunch of cards. You could also potentially Chessy Cat during that turn in order to banish something from your hand in order to draw 2 cards, which is also very advantageous. So we basically have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 hand traps, right? We have the Imperm set and then the 3 in hand. We have the MTP, which also allows us to banish a card if we control a Maliss Link monster. And then on top of that, we have Maliss in the Mirror, which allows us to banish as well, which is, again, fairly advantageous. So all of that is pretty solid, right? That's more or less what it does, or like what it can do. The Topologic Bomber is multiple interactions there, and had I not messed up my zones, we would have also had access to the March Hare in hand, which would have allowed us basically in an archetype Bestial that we could have used to then do additional nukes and stuff like that off of the Topologic Bomber. So very, very solid. That's ultimately what it does. Hopefully this helped. Thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye.